Rogan Report podcast. Check it out.
All things Joe Rogan by day. Rogan Report podcast by night. All day. All night. Half hour to an hour-ish episodes once a week.
The Rogan Report podcast.
All right, Shane, welcome back to the basement for episode 54.
54. Good to be back, man.
We're still here.
Yep.
You might assume that we've been gone since our episodes are so sporadic.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 3 weeks, could be 3.5.
Yeah.
It could be 1 week.
Could be 1 week, but when you assume that we're gone, you're wrong!
It's so wrong.
We're here.
Yeah.
And we're ready to service your ears.
Yeah.
With delightful pleasure.
Yeah.
So, on the table of contents this week, I broke up with Angie last week. She's moving out of here, going to be getting some new roommates. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Shut up.
I swear to God that's a thing.
Oh, man.
COVID's still a thing, too, so I'm sure we're not going to intentionally talk about COVID, but it's going to factor into everything we talk about.
It's pretty big right now.
Yeah, I mean, Alberta seems to be, we're a little bit behind the times in most things, and COVID seems like it's hitting us the hardest right now. But I don't know about that either. It seems like Calgary right off the bat got hit harder than we're as a whole being hit.
Why
right
does
now.
Calgary suck so hard?
I don't know. They just get all the storms, but somehow it is where all the head offices are for businesses. So, and it's only an hour away from Banff, so they've got some really strong things going for them. But being clear of COVID is not one of them.
It's tough to get to Banff without really touching on Calgary.
Yeah, but now that they have that ring road, you touch it a lot less.
Yeah, barely.
You just kind of skirt it.
Yeah.
We'll do some Rogan reporting on the recent episodes. I loved the Josh Barnett episode. He talked about his whiskey and really very little about UFC, which you would expect them to talk about, being the youngest UFC champion of all time, or at least heavyweight champion. I think John Jones took away,
But
overall.
barely by seconds.
Yeah, by a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Josh Barnett, youngest heavyweight champion in the UFC ever, but they mostly didn't talk about UFC. They talked about other great things. James Nestor, who talked about breathing and how to breathe, and I fucking breathe too much through my mouth. I know it.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that. Peter Schiff, who didn't let Joe get a word in edgewise. I don't know if you saw any comments, but is basically like, somebody said something funny on the internet, and I don't remember what it was, but it was something about how this should be called Joe trying to interject on Peter Schiff's podcast, essentially, because it didn't help that they were in two separate places, and there was like a delay in their headphones, but Schiff would get going on a rant, and then Joe would be like, oh, wait, Peter, hey, let me tell you. And Schiff would just like, go.
Just bulldoze.
Yeah, bulldoze. And it's interesting because it felt that way to me. And when I listened to the end of the podcast, I went back and listened to the beginning. And the beginning of the podcast is actually, there's some good give and take. It's like, sounds fairly sane and rational. But by the end, it's just like Schiff has, I don't know if he was drinking. I know he did have a glass of scotch there, but I don't know if there are some other things, maybe some, some other
Maybe
things.
some barbiturates.
Yeah, some kind of something that made him go off a little bit more than usual.
Jesus.
But still, he makes some really great points, but I don't trust his the free market will solve any problem that ever arises. That, which is basically, he's like a libertarian, hard libertarian, but he does make some really good points about how the government has gone wrong with the big, massive government that we have now.
Yeah.
And then George Knapp just posted today, fresh off the presses. I haven't listened to that one yet, but you started and you're super
I'm maybe
eager.
40 minutes in.
Okay.
But I've got things to say about Nap and like
Yeah, you're a fan.
Yeah, I've been a conspiracy guy for some time.
Right. And then we also just passed UFC 251, so we could touch on that a little bit. And 252 is coming up here, which is exciting. Cormier and Miocic too. So
The fucking dinosaur part 3. It's time to get out of the way, guys.
Yeah, jeez.
You guys are old.
That's gonna be. You know what? I'm excited to see it though. Stipe, as Joe says a lot of the time, doesn't get nearly the credit that he deserves in that division. Like he's the best of the best in the heavyweight division, really.
Yeah.
If stats wise, if you're looking at his stats, so I'm excited for it. And
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'm a Cormier fan. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, someone's going to sleep.
You expect so.
Yeah, that's what the first two fights were.
You know what? No sleeping in really the last couple of fights. The last fight night, all decisions in the main card.
Is that the Wednesday you're talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, Ige and
Was it Qatar?
yeah, Calvin Qatar.
Fuck, that's a hell of a fight, eh?
Yeah, but it went the full 5, and no one slept. No one slept anyone on that whole main card. And then on 252, I think 4 out of the 5 main card fights were decisions. 51, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It's just been just a whole pile of decisions, but some really, really good fights regardless.
Some great fights.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, let's head back to the top of the story here, the top of the hour. I broke up with Angie.
That's deep, bro.
Yeah, it's weird. 5.5 years we were together,
Yeah.
Angie and I. And I don't want to get into all the reasons why,
Yeah.
She's a cunt and I'm not. And, so it was never really meant to be long term. No, I shouldn't say that. I wrote a song about it, and I'll probably play that song on this podcast at some point. Not right now. But, we just haven't really been super happy the last couple of years. And, we've had some happy times, but our general day-to-day has been kind of like not in the same groove. And I was kind of always hoping that we'd get it back. But last week, we had a bit of an incident, and I, was like, well, I think we should break up. And that sort of led to us talking about it and breaking up.
Yeah.
And so she's moving out of here, and she's got herself a place with, I had another roommate who was her best friend, who is, of course, also moving out with her because they're best friends.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
it'd be weird for her to stay and Angie to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a new roommate, and they're both moving over to the Mill Creek area. And I hope that it's a catalyst for change for, in healthy ways for both of us. That's my
Yeah.
goal.
I mean, you can't help but change.
Yeah.
Right now, everything's changing.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just like the rest of the world. I'm gonna miss our dog that we have together. The
Dog's going with Angie.
dog. Yeah, it's always been Angie's dog. She bought the dog from the Humane Society.
Hmm.
She's paid for the dog's food the entire time. And given if we leave the doors open and Angie's sleeping in one room and I'm sleeping in the other room, she's going with Angie
Oh, yeah.
every single time. It's
yeah.
it's Angie's dog, but I do love the dog with all my heart, and I'm gonna really miss her. But she said, I'm gonna still dog shit from time to time for her, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I want what's best for Angie. Like, I really do care about her, and I want her to be successful. I want this to be a catalyst for change for her in a good, positive way, and I hope that she can, get healthier, because both of us have kind of like said fuck it on all things health related in the past couple of years, and especially eating like shit, one, and then drinking tons of alcohol, two. So for me, I really want to buy healthy foods, keep healthy foods here in the house, and that way that's what I'm eating. I'm not pulling ice cream out of the freezer every night. I'm eating healthy foods. And then two, I really want to limit the amount of alcohol I'm drinking. So it's a Friday today. Fridays and Saturdays, I feel like those are good alcohol drinking days if I'm going to drink. And then the rest of the week, I want to just not drink at all and stay fairly sober. And I've been seeing a therapist here, a psychologist,
Oh,
to
that's
kind
great.
of work through some of my feelings about it, and hopefully get some new perspective. And it's been a trip. It's been sad, but also I guess joyous in some ways.
Yeah.
As well, but mostly sad.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man.
Yeah, it is hard.
Well, I mean, I've been up to less dramatic things.
Mhm.
I've been building out my backyard, and it's like a backyard oasis now.
Right on.
I'm pretty excited about that, but
In a rental, most people wouldn't build out a backyard oasis in a rental.
so it's
But
everything I've done, I could take apart. But it's going to take every bit as much work as it took to build the fucking thing, of course.
yeah,
But it's a cool deck. It's a 2-layer deck. I've got a barbecue deck.
they're called tiers.
Tiers. There
Yeah.
you go. 2-tiered deck.
Yep.
And it's like a 8 by 10 foot, which is really all I had room for in the yard. It takes up half the yard.
Yeah.
But so I've got that, and I built a big cover thing over the whole thing. And
Pergola.
Kind of. Kind of. You can't really call it a pergola because
Okay.
it's a pretty, specific style.
It's pergola-like.
Yeah. But it has a cover. So most pergolas don't. They're
Yeah.
just the beams, right? And they
Right.
don't actually cover anything.
Truth.
So mine covers shit.
What is it about with the beams? You get a little bit of shade from them.
I think it's whack. Why wouldn't you put the roof on? You
Well,
built the frame.
Yeah, you could. Some people, they put like a cloth,
Yeah,
like a
that's
tarp sort of thing that you can draw across. Some kind of.
I suspect
curtain.
that works pretty poorly though. When
don't
it
know.
comes down to it.
I mean, I wouldn't trust rain to stay out, but
But I ripped up the rest of the yard and made a garden in there. And I've got one hell of a garden. Like, you got to come over soon because I've got tomato plants that are 5 feet tall.
Oh,
My
wow.
corns are to the top of the fence.
wow.
Like, I don't know what's in the soil, but
Were you allowed to do that, or is this another?
listen,
thing
I
where-
don't ever ask permission to do stuff first.
Yeah, Is
Ever.
So, no more damage deposits back for you again.
Probably not. But although it's beautiful, if I were to leave it, it's like literally the nicest yard in that entire complex.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, I'm not really jumping any big hurdle there, but
yeah.
there are some really cool setups. What's cool about this place is they don't really care what you do too much, and there's no limit on pets other than the legal limit, which I think is 3 dogs and 5 cats in Edmonton,
Right. That sounds about right to me.
which is fucking way too many pets.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's asshole
That's too
shit.
many.
I have 3 cats and 1 dog, and it's too many.
Yeah, you
I'm-
should have 1 cat and 1 dog.
I'm like watching the calendar for when one of the older ones kicks it. I love
Yeah.
them both, but
Yeah,
fuck, man.
you're not gonna throw them in a bag and toss them
No.
in the river. But when they go, you
My
went.
kid actually found a cat in a bag last week,
Oh no!
like a couple alleys away. He's
Ew.
always out on his longboard.
Shit, that sucks.
But yeah, that's been my life. I work and I build and I paint.
How's the painting going?
Good. I'm working on a commission for my sister right now.
Okay.
Art shows are still kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, nothing, because it's indoors, and I assume when you're talking about art, you're probably projecting extra, so you're probably gonna, like singers, then they sing, they say that's a very high risk activity.
Yeah.
So
Although I would say if everybody could just get a mask on their face, I think everything's fine.
yeah,
Really. I think even the 6-foot thing wouldn't matter if everyone had a mask on.
maybe masks are definitely not prevalent. I'd say in my experience, I see about 30% of the people wearing them.
And that's actually up probably from what it was originally, about 10%, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it's been
So-
up a little bit over the last week.
Yeah.
Because Alberta's seen more cases, and of course that's going to make people a little more conscious. And I'm not. Did you watch the video of the 2 surfer dudes trying to hand out masks in California,
No.
and everyone's just angry at them, like "Fuck you! It's my right to not wear a mask." Rah."
Oh, yeah. It's become a political thing.
Yeah,
It's left versus right.
100%.
Yeah.
And people are very angry. They basically, have you seen the show Letterkenny? It's like the hockey player dudes from Letterkenny, if you can imagine them.
I know
Um,
of the dudes.
They're
So,
trying to hand out masks to people, and the angry right-wing Americans are not having it. Of course, they probably went out for a full day, and there's about 90 seconds of video, so you would imagine they took the ones where it was the people complaining the hardest and being the most assholery
Yeah.
of all, and it worked. It's a great video.
Yeah.
So worth watching. Seem like good dudes. I'd hang out with them.
Well, Canada's handing out masks. And they're doing it in a strange way
With
through Tim Hortons and McDonald's.
Yeah.
Which
Are they
is-
still handing them out now?
They switched now. They originally it was only through drive-thrus, and
Yeah.
now it's in the store.
Oh, okay.
So I capitalized on both.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a couple packs of masks when I went.
This
He was
week,
like, how many masks do you want? I'm like, I don't know.
how many
3?
can I have, bro?
And then he gave, and I went and I asked for 3, and it was 3 packages of 5 masks each.
Well, earlier
oh,
this
shit.
week, I was supposed to be here, but the bus driver turned me away because I didn't have a mask on. And I
Yeah.
guess all the buses do say now, please wear a mask.
Yeah, I didn't hear that was
But I don't
hard
think
and
it's a.
fast
I
rule.
actually don't think it's a rule.
Just that bus driver.
I
was
think that bus
being-
driver was like, no.
Yeah, that may be true. Maybe he's a little extra scared and
Yeah.
decided, nope, not having you. You looked a little infected, and he's like, no.
He's like, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
I've been stockpiling though. Every coffee I get, I'm like, you got masks?
okay.
But-
I have not been stockpiling, but I have 6 or 7 reusable ones
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that I wash with my laundry.
I mean, I
And-
think the point is not getting your droplets.
Yeah.
I don't think even the masks are stopping the actual particulates.
No, your air is
Like
still
the
coming
air's
through.
coming
The
through,
vapor
Yeah.
is what they say. The vapor is coming through, but the droplets presumably are not. They're heavily stopped.
You got to assume that it's stopping
Strict.
some of the danger.
Yeah, I hope so. Otherwise, it's for nothing, and they're not super comfortable.
No,
So-
I like the papery ones that barely like. I don't
Yeah.
like the N95s. Have you put one of those on?
Oh, of course,
They're
yeah,
fucking terrible.
yeah, hard to breathe through.
Yeah. There's a couple places I have to have that on because I deliver shit, right?
Right.
But most places aren't even letting me in anymore. I just knock on the door and I put the shit outside the door and that's
Oh,
it.
yeah, curbside.
Yeah.
as they call it.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's intense, Shane.
Well, we got into COVID anyway, didn't we?
Yeah, of course we did.
It's what the fuck's happening.
It just is a factor in everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, of course, it's going to come up. Should we talk a little bit about what other news things did you? What's the least COVID related news thing that you brought?
It's all COVID.
Damn it,
Okay,
Shane.
well, listen. We talked last episode about Crystalia,
Yeah.
and it's mysteriously silent still.
Why?
He's silent. First of all,
I
he
don't
does
understand.
a weekly podcast. He's not posted one since I think the 3rd,
Yeah.
which is speaking volumes by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
An
yeah.
innocent guy's going to get on there and scream about his innocence.
I'm sure he's not innocent. I don't know how guilty or what happened. I don't know if we'll ever know what happened, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law is a big fan and has been like, why isn't he talking about this? What's
No,
going on?
that's-
And, yeah.
That bums me out. If he would have come out and denied it, I like him enough that I probably would have took his word for it, at least until more evidence came out.
What if he didn't deny it, but he came out and said, you know what? I met this girl. She was younger than 18, and I really liked her. And I was talking to her, and nothing ever happened beyond that. But, like, you know, it's really hard for me to not talk to a woman.
How old was he when he met her, for me?
A young woman who's very beautiful and very amazing, and you know, you want me to not talk to her? That's a very difficult thing to do.
I mean,
And
it
I
totally
didn't-
depends how old he is, right? When
Well,
it happens.
He's 40 or so.
Or like, so when are the allegations all from? I'm pretty sure they're all like 5 years older or older.
Well, he's like what? He's 40 some now.
So even
So if
that
they're
is
35, for sure, it doesn't really matter to me
No.
if he was 35 or 40 or 45.
No,
or
anything
even-
older than 22 or 23.
Yeah, exactly. And he was definitely older than that. And so, but what if he does say these things? You know, to me, that's a big thing. If he never like really acted on it and like, I guess they're waiting for it all to go through court before they say any public things. That's probably
That's got to be it.
everyone's waiting for, because there's going to be actual court. But for me, if it comes out that he was just talking to these young ladies and didn't like molest any of them,
hmm
I think that's pretty forgivable.
I'm okay. Yeah. I
But
think it's sleazy.
If that's all it, yeah, it is sleazy. But if that's all it is, you know, but if that's all it was, would it be this big of a deal that it is right now? I can't imagine if that's all it was. If that would, though the only allegations were, hey, he sent me these text messages and we talked about these dirty things that were inappropriate.
Yeah.
That seems like something that would blow over fairly easily. So it's got, to me, in my heart of hearts, I have to imagine that it did go further than that. And
Mhm.
once it gets, you know, further than that, where you've taken some real physical actions that
Yeah.
you can't take back, like, man, you got to pay some kind of price for that, I
Yeah,
think.
you got to get charged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in this era of the Epstein, like,
Yeah.
oh, there you go.
That's
There's a news item.
not
Ghislaine
okay.
Maxwell's been arrested.
Yeah. That was his, like, right hand man, or,
Yeah.
so to speak, right hand woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like evil as fuck.
Yeah. I've heard a bunch of people say, like, okay, she's obviously going to be murdered in jail.
Yeah.
But is not currently murdered in jail
No.
yet.
No.
So we'll see. But imagine if she suicides herself and the cameras are all off. Like,
Well, she just pleaded not guilty.
yeah,
So, come on. Everybody has seen the Netflix special at this point. I think we know you're guilty.
yeah. I wonder.
Yeah. Oh, man. That just raises so many dark questions about the world. Ugh. Gross.
The world's a rough place right now.
You know that Canada's not clean of all that shit.
Yeah,
If there's American senators at Fuck Island, then there's probably some Canadians that go to Fuck Island too.
yeah. Jason Kenney for sure.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
God, I wish that would come out. We could drop Kenny so quick if that
Yeah.
happened.
You know, Trudeau too. Like he's got too clean of an image.
Oh, yeah.
Something there.
He definitely is into some ladies. You remember how shady he was acting with Ivanka? Is that the daughter?
Ivanka Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were tight when it came to like the whole, like, I don't know, the first meeting they had.
yeah.
I don't think they're tight now.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
oh, he's like, yeah, I don't know. There's some shady shit about him right now too.
What shade?
I don't even know what it is. It's some charity thing
Mhm.
that like padded the pockets of fucking. Fuck, this shit happens. Who's shocked? Who's shocked?
I don't know. That is tough. That's like, you know, Schiff making these good points. Like one of the things that he really talked about is how government just fucks things up so badly, right? And how we should have way, way less government. And one of his big examples was student loans.
Yeah.
And how in the 50s, going to get a college, university education was very affordable. You could go work a part-time job, pay for the whole thing, not be in debt. You work very, very part-time and pay for your entire education. But it's just a racket now with books costing $800 for a textbook and with tuitions because the government stepped in and said, okay, we're going to create these student loans that are they're backed by the government, so they can't be defaulted on because they're backed by the government. So once the government said, we're going to loan you all this money so you don't have to have a part-time job, you can just go to school and worry about school and not have to worry about working while you're in school, then the university said, oh, now that these kids have these loans that are guaranteed to be, paid, we're going to raise our tuitions. And that's when tuitions really started to raise, was as loans became prevalent. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's just, that's assholery at its
fucking dirty
finest.
is what it is.
Yeah, and then the schools were competing to, who could have the best gymnasiums and whatnot, and so that they could charge the highest tuitions, and it just all kind of maxed out with what the maximum loans were. Tuitions kind of rose to what the maximum loans people were able to take on were, rather than being worth the amount of what you get via the education. So glad I didn't go to Harvard and walk away with $200,000 in debt, because that's basically a mortgage and paying off $200,000. That's a 20-year, 30-year commitment.
Man, you have to make some serious cake to get rid of that quicker.
Yeah,
like
because you also have to pay for yourself to live. So like for the average people, unless you're making $1 million a year, it's astronomical the amount of money that it costs to pay for student loans.
You got to step back and look at what could you have made not paying for school.
Yeah.
What could you have made in that time frame, and what you're paying all back all this time? Was it worth it?
That's true as well.
200,
Yeah. Hopefully in school to me, school was never really about the information that you're learning, but it's about learning how to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're learning how to go in and how to learn a new skill that you can use. Learning about, and of course you do retain some of that information as well.
Sure.
But like all the math, like all the equations for the algebra that I learned through high school, like I couldn't figure out any of that stuff right now. But I know learning how to learn that stuff helped my brain. It helped me to become who I am today. And you're learning social dynamics with all your peers in school, which then carries you through into the workforce as well. So it's like, it's really not so much, I don't think, about the information as it is about the experience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Some things, you have to have school for some things. You can't just figure out how to be a surgeon.
Yeah.
You're just going to wing it until you get it right. And
you're not going to just keep looking at books and know how to read eventually without someone explaining to you what the alphabet is.
Yeah.
So right from the beginning, there are things that you learn that are information based, but like, all the history that I learned in social, a lot of the math that I learned, learning how to read, of course, very valuable, but learning about Shakespeare, maybe not as valuable, right? Like it's all on that vast scale that we always talk about of, things that are incredibly invaluable. But, I do overall think that the experience is more valuable than the information itself.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You heard it here first.
I would agree with that 100%.
All right.
Stamp of approval. Well,
what else you got?
You want to talk these UFC fights? It would just not last weekend. Was it last weekend?
Yeah, last Saturday.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Sure, we could talk about that.
Sure. Let's start from the bottom this time.
Okay. Did you watch the fights?
I did.
Awesome.
My girl, Paige Van Zandt. Sad comeback.
Yeah.
That girl's had her arm broken, I think, 3 times in the last 2 years. So she probably couldn't tap quick enough on that bitch.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Oh,
That
that's
was
rough.
one of the few finishes there, eh?
Yeah, and I think her last fight was a knockout, wasn't it? Rachel Ostovich. I think we watched it at your place.
I kind of remember. My ex-girlfriend, I should say, is playing music upstairs, and Dolly is barking. There must be reflections and people going by.
Oh yeah.
So
I think the music's barely coming through.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can hear it in my headphones.
Me
should,
too, a little bit. Yeah.
We should go and yell at her and scream. And
We just go as both. Yeah.
both of us. Yeah, I think that would make the point.
I could throw my glass at the wall.
Yeah.
Really.
Something.
Yeah. So.
And I'm looking at UFC 251, right? That's the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
Usman versus Masvidal.
Yeah.
And yeah, page from that submission loss to Amanda.
In 2 minutes,
Ribas.
I think, first round.
Yeah.
Less than 2 minutes.
2:21.
In 2:21. Okay.
And then Jessica Andrade versus Thug Rose.
Thug Rose.
Yamanunas.
Fuck, that fight was good, man.
It was good. And man, Rose looked a little worse for the wear at the end of the third round.
She definitely had
Like-
first round 1 and 2.
Yeah, I agree. And if I was going to just give it to who would eventually win the fight to the death, I think it probably would go to Andrade.
Yeah.
But Paige did have 1 and 2. So fair is fair. She won the fight by decision.
The rules of MMA are all rounds are equal.
Yeah.
So
For now.
yeah, for now.
So yeah, Andrade didn't get enough done, and I'm sure she knows that, and can probably admit that.
She
now.
should have spiked that bitch on her head again.
Yeah, at least.
That worked well last time.
But I'm happy for Rose. I love
Oh
Rose.
yeah, totally.
She might be my favorite. I like the karate hottie, Michelle Watterson.
Rose seems fragile somehow to me. Like she's really good,
Yeah.
but she's so like
Maybe
delicate.
it's the shaved head. It makes her seem like depressed or something.
Like I'd have a hard time hitting her if I was a girl.
Yeah.
Looks sad. I don't want to hit you.
Yeah, I don't know. But she is one of my favorites, so I'm happy she won.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Peter Yan versus Aldo was
Yeah.
a fucking fight in a phone booth, literally the whole time,
Yeah.
shot for shot. That was a fucking great fight.
Yeah. Do you think now? What do you think about that decision? Do you think maybe Aldo?
No,
He-
that was a stoppage. That one.
was it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, TKO right at the
Aldo
end.
took about 15 extra shots than he should have took.
It was like he was. I remember now. He in the first round he looked great, and he had a
sharp.
knockdown. Right. Like
Yeah.
I think he nearly finished the fight in the first round, and then after that, he just didn't have it anymore. And
Well, he had a notable leg kick knockdown in the first round.
he got beat up pretty hard.
He did.
Yeah,
But he looked sharp, man.
He did.
I think Aldo's should have always been at 135.
Probably.
And it's unfortunately he's not that old, but he's kind of old when it comes to wear and tear.
Yeah.
He's definitely been around.
Yeah. There's been a lot of battles.
But that Peter Yan, he's the fucking truth in that division.
Sensational.
There's rumors of Cejudo coming back to fight him.
Yeah, well, I feel like Cejudo's going to have a ton of rumors around all kinds
Fuck
of things.
else is Cejudo
Until
gonna
he
do?
actually does something.
He's got to come back.
I don't know.
I don't know,
He'll
man.
start a gym.
I guess he could do that for sure. He can probably do lots of stuff. I don't know. I've always kind of hated.
He says
on
he wants
Cejudo.
to like fight a boxer, right? He wants to get some kind of get like a boxing title.
I'm so sick of that. Go
Yeah.
away, boxing.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I kind of have to. It's like, do we really need this anymore?
Like Connor did it, and that was fun. But like,
Yeah.
I'm not interested in
That's-
anyone else doing
That's
it.
all we needed. That answered that question.
It was very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I kind of agree. I almost feel like we should just get rid of all martial arts now that we know that mixed martial arts is the truth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that you absolutely need is to be well-rounded and have a little bit of everything.
Well, have we seen any boxer come into MMA like a pure boxer and not get fucked up?
No.
I don't think so.
No, it's impossible.
You could say Holly Holm was a boxer, but she was also a
No,
kickboxer.
kickboxing is different.
She did both, but she did kickboxing a lot and was a champ and shit. So
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah.
And then the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway.
yeah,
This
the
is the-
co-main, yeah.
Yeah. You think you could give this one to Holloway?
That was Holloway's fight. Yes, me had 3-2 for sure. Although he was losing in the last round
yeah.
and a half. Round and a half, I'd say.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking, the fight I was thinking of in my head when I was talking about Aldo Jan. But Volkanovski, yeah, good fight. But it seemed like Holloway had more winning rounds to me.
He looked first of all, he came out and he looked like a fucking Gumby doll.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Holloway look more skinny and long in your life?
I don't know.
Holy fuck. Maybe it was the extra hair on his head or something, but he came out looking goofy. I thought he looked real weird. Like a willowy, like a willow tree. But he looked sharp, man. He looked fucking good. That was old school Holloway in there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even though he lost, I don't think his stock falls at all. I think that actually brought him up from the last fight. And I wish he would have won it, because then we would have had a sweet trilogy.
Yeah, significant strikes was 272 to 268 in favor of Volkanovski.
Yeah.
And it was a split decision, 48-47. So, and then 47-48, and then 48-47. So it's like, it was obviously very, very, very close. And, it comes down to a little bit of that, like, who's winning at the end? Do they deserve? Maybe it comes to a little bit of, like, got to beat the champ to be the champ. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's, but it was very close. And I do think that just in my head, I was surprised. I thought that it was going to be Holloway.
So I spoiled.
But I wasn't scoring it.
I spoiled it before I watched it.
Yeah.
So I fucking unfortunately knew everything, but.
Fair enough. Yeah, I didn't. I was
bummed.
I watched it live, actually. I walked over to the O2's pub in my local neighborhood here and paid the $5 cover that they decided to charge this time, which I don't have no idea.
It's pretty arbitrary, isn't it, over there?
It totally is. It's rarely cover, but every once in a while they're like $5. And I'm like, God damn it. All right, well, I'm here. Well, here you go.
Yeah.
I walked over and watched it there.
Yeah.
And then the main event of the main events was Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal.
This was not our Usman Masvidal fight we wanted to see.
No.
We had a 6 day out Masvidal.
Yeah.
Who came in 20 pounds too heavy.
Yeah?
Well, the week before. Like, he'd lost the weight, but he was thick.
Do you think that affected him a lot?
I think it
fight?
affected his gas tank. He even said so. I watched some post-fight interviews.
Yeah.
And he acknowledges it.
To me, it seems like this is just one of those things where wrestling is, again, proven to be the most important skill. And, Masvidal, backyard brawler, not the best wrestler. Fine if he can land a knee in the first 3 seconds. But if he can't, Usman had him pressured up against the cage. And it just, like, to me, like, there was no question that Usman won that fight, right?
No, he definitely won it.
It
wasn't fun to watch, really.
Yeah, it wasn't a super exciting knockout, but like Usman had him in every round, and I would have liked to have seen it be closer, but like wrestling is just such an important skill because you get to dictate where the fight happens and how the fight goes down. Like if Usman would have just stood and traded with him, which would have been stupid to do.
Well, I think that happened in the first round, and he just adjusted, right?
Yeah, I guess. Like
because he felt the wrath.
Yeah, if he would have decided to do that through the whole fight, it would have been maybe a different story. We don't know. Maybe Usman could have also still landed something on him. You never know. But Usman decided to take the safe route, use his wrestling, which is definitely superior, and beat him up in the clinch, beat him up on the ground, and that was and he won it like pretty decisively. Won the decision. Not the most exciting fight we've ever seen, but I think a good strategy for Usman to use, and just proves that Masvidal probably needs to work on his wrestling before whatever next shot he gets.
People can be mad, but like it's such a different game being a defender of a belt than it is being the challenger of a belt, because you're trying to keep the thing. And like inherently, it's defending, it's wrestling, it's fucking, you're not taking it from me.
Yeah,
come and get it.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
No, I think that's important.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what's next for Usman. I think it's gonna be Edwards, who's been kind of sitting in the wings forever. Leon Edwards.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or GSP comes back.
That'd be sick if GSP came in and beat the shit out of him and fucking retired again.
GSP could I don't know, GSP in that fight, like watching that most recent fight, I feel like GSP would have had a strong chance against Usman there.
Oh yeah, he's got an answer for that.
I wonder if Usman would try to strike more, because Usman's probably a little bit bigger. I don't know. Obviously,
GSP
Pierre fought at 185 most recently, but I think he's pretty naturally a 170. He says he can make 155.
But he spent all his career at 170, right? Up until that middleweight?
Yeah, his entire career, but his entire career while he says he can make 155.
I believe it. He's not huge.
No, he's not huge.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't belong at 185.
No.
There's 100%.
He just looked like a thick boy in there.
Yeah.
He looked in shape,
He
but
did.
he looks like a bodybuilder kind of.
Yeah, pretty muscly.
Yeah.
Fighting some of the other vicious 185ers, I don't know how he fares. I think
Just
he had
too
the
small,
answer for
I think.
Bisping.
Yeah.
I love that Bisping will bring it up, because Bisping's a great commentator.
I love his commentating.
Yeah, I really do too. I love that he throws his personal kind of, and he makes light of his wins and losses and his experience in the UFC.
Yeah.
And so I love that about Bisping. I don't know where I was going with that.
No,
but
I love his fucking British sarcasm, man. That
Yeah.
shit cracks me up.
I do too. I really do. And GSP beat him. I think GSP had the answer for Bisping. I don't know if he would have the answer for the rest of the division.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Yeah.
I think Bisping kind of got lucky in the sense that he walked into that championship right at the perfect time for him. A very cocky Rockhold went in there with his hands down and got knocked out.
Yeah.
And then what was next for Bisping? Oh yeah, he got his face hammered in for the last 2 rounds with Henderson and somehow won that fight.
Yeah.
He looked so bad after that fight.
Henderson.
Fuck.
I feel bad for Henderson. Henderson never had that title, right?
No way.
I don't think so. I think he never had the 185 title. I kind of feel like he deserved it.
Yeah.
His logo is him knocking out Bisping from the first fight that they had.
Yeah.
At that raining down a fist of fury
This is
onto
fucking
his
dirty
face.
shit, man. Old school MMA
My
is
God,
dark, dude.
it really was.
How's a ref gonna even stop that blow?
Oh, you can't. You're not stopping that.
Not getting in front of it, that's for sure.
I can't imagine the psyche that it takes to know that Henderson's logo is him landing a punch on you while you're already unconscious. Man, that's got to be tough.
Yeah, brutal.
So that was the UFC. 252 is upcoming. Cormier versus Miocic 2, as we kind of mentioned there. Do you have a pick for that? Do you think it's going to be one or the other?
Honestly, I really want it to be Cormier so he can kind of walk away with some
Dignity?
something. I'm the best at this, at least. John
Sure.
can't take this one from me.
Ah,
Oh fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of turns out.
I think I might have Stipe though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was only weakened from his Ngannou fight the first time he fought Cormier
I agree.
because he took some fucking beating.
That was
From Ngannou.
nuts. I think, and I bet you the Vegas odds favor Miocic as well.
Yeah.
But that would be my pick. We've also got Junior Dos Santos versus Rosenstrike on that
Oh,
card as well. So the big boys, both the main event and the co-main event will be the big boys.
Nice.
And Megamed, oh God Christ, Ankalaevlov versus Ion Kutalababala.
Oh, that was the guy that played possum last time, and the ref called it, and he lost the fight.
Right, I remember that.
He's the guy that turns green all the time. He paints his body green.
That was pretty funny.
Fucking Cutalaba.
Kutalaba. He'll be up there. Pedro Munoz versus Frankie Edgar. That's a good fight.
Yeah.
Munoz. And Sugar Sean O'Malley's fighting again
Oh, that's sweet. That's quick.
versus Marin Vera.
Yeah.
Marion.
But he didn't get hurt last time, so he's ready to knock another motherfucker out.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty good card. I'm excited for that one. Shane, we should make a plan to watch that one together.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then
What's the date on it?
August 15th.
Okay. You want to just go to the pub or something, or?
I don't know. I'm not on vacation. I'm here in town, so I'm not sure if I'll probably be off. I'm off most Saturdays.
Yeah.
So Yeah. We could maybe watch it here. I might have a new roommate.
Yeah. Might be
Girlfriend will be kicked
new
to the
dynamic
curb.
at the Reuben household.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the new roomie is going to be into UFC or not, but we can cross that bridge when we get there.
Well, we get working on him anyway.
Yeah.
Or her.
Yeah. Them.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't associate with your.
Z.
Yeah. Something or other.
Non-binary, possibly.
Anything else we really need to talk about here on this podcast, Shane?
I think we've covered it. I mean,
All right, I'm good with that too.
Yep.
Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review on iTunes. That helps us to climb the ranks. That's apparently the thing that everyone says that you need to do.
yeah.
So do that. And anything else is gravy. Reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next week.
Joe Rogan's unique perspective is teaching us all how to best live. And we will attempt to recap all of his weekly podcasts. Now show your support and download the Rogan Report. The Rogan